Do you think that just some programs are just happy to be where they're happy to be?
Yeah,
I mean
I
that
do.
I mean, I don't know if Corey or if your Iowa people have touched on this, but maybe they're okay with understanding they're an 8, 9 win program and they're good with that. And you know what? More power to you, Kirk.
They're a 7-win program, David. They've
Well,
established that if they win 7, that's a successful season because they're handing out bonuses based on winning 7 games.
yeah, but they've had 8 wins within the last
I
5 or
know.
you
I'm
know what I
just
mean?
playing devil's advocate that they've pretty much made the statement that in giving the bonus on 7-win season. So this is where I will defend Iowa and schools like them to a certain extent. There has to be a level of frustration. If you're
Mm,
in competitive sports at that level, you've obviously devoted your life to it. You make a lot of money based on being really good at what you do. You've excelled through probably maybe as a player, but certainly as a coach and all those things.
right.
And you're in a situation where we're really good at what we do and we're a top 20 team, 25 team, something in that range, but the top 5 are there and we have A, B, C as disadvantages. Do we really should we really bang our head against the wall thinking we can compete when it's highly doubtful that we can? So why stress ourselves to that degree to try to keep up with the Ohio States of the world because we just don't have those type of resources?
Well, I mean, that's where, in many ways, that college football, well, even more so nowadays with NIL and some other things, is becoming like the it's just dollars and cents.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
even before that.
oh sure.
Yeah.
That's why maybe you should become the voice of semi-pro football instead of the voice of college football, Mark, because guess what? There isn't a line anymore. I don't think. There used to be a line, by the way. There is no line anymore. I think that line is getting obliterated as we move forward here.
Yes, it's as blurry can be on your eye chart. Uh,
Right.
uh, B Bean, Iowa's top 20 with a question mark. Yeah, that's a rough general statement. Yes, I will back that up as generally in that range from year to year.
Well, I think also Dace's comment about, maybe Kirk has felt that he's tapped out where he can take that program, I thought was a really good point on Steve's part. That maybe that the days of being 2002 Iowa, the Brad Banks team that he had a couple of really good NFL players on that team, and Bob Sanders and Dallas Clark, I
Oh
believe.
yeah.
And being able to get to that level. By the way, that was at a time in the early 2000s when the Big Ten was more competitive maybe than it is right now.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. I've always known of Iowa as having fairly good tight end play. When they are pretty good. The other thing too that surprised me is they can't get offensive line play. You'd think Midwestern program. I mean, Wisconsin's got an offensive line play right over the years. I'm surprised Iowa can't, find some road graders in the Midwest that can play offensive line.
They
I
have
don't
that
think that it's,
reputation, but it's
yeah.
not reality. It's history. Yeah, they have not had good offensive lines for a while. Uh, now going back to your thoughts about and our SEC friends would you may want to know that yes, if you weren't back during the run of roughly 2002 to 2005, that the Big Ten probably did have the best conference in college football.
It's close. Yeah.
But this, so I tried to make this clear, and I don't know if I was effective, that I agreed with Steve because if you look at where is Iowa located, what resources do they have,
Mm.
what's the recruiting footprint, and all of that, it's understandable to say, hey, if they're going 8-4, 9-3 every year and going to decent bowl games, that's about where they should be, and Kirk has probably maxed that out. However, when you look at it in addressing the issue that we were addressing, if you're rolling out top 5 defenses and top 5 special teams and
Right.
you're rolling out bottom 5 offenses, and I know this year was somewhat of an aberration, but generally like bottom 20 offenses. Well, well, if Wisconsin can have a capable offense most of the time, and
Yeah.
Purdue has had good offenses, and Nebraska even under Mike Riley had, if you can achieve to the level of a 70th, 60th ranked offense, what you can't, if you could be that good in 2 other areas of the football program, why can't you be capable, competent, functional in the other one and see what happens?
Yeah, and you especially think with today, maybe you can get into the portal. You can find a really good offensive player. Maybe you find your Kenneth Walker Jr. the same way Michigan State did. You find that impact running back, skill player, whatever the case might be. And the other thing, Mark, is they're on the weaker side of the Big Ten in divisions. I mean, you keep coming
Yeah.
back to that point.
And there's really good group of 5 quarterbacks. We see group of 5
Yeah,
quarterbacks that, you know, that are better than most Iowa quarterbacks.
yeah. Wouldn't you know, by the way, as an Ohio State fan, the one time Brian Ferentz designed a good offensive game plan was in 2017 against Ohio State when he may have
He,
coached the pants off of Craig Schiano as
yeah,
defensive coordinator.
this is true, man.
You
55. Wow.
Yeah, you want a shining moment maybe in the Brian Ferentz era from an Ohio State perspective. Take a look at that 50-some burger that he dropped against us when we found out that Iowa had good tight ends. By the way, really good tight ends on that team. Where they had Fant and Hawkinson, I think, were
Hawkinson,
both on
both
that
of them.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a video right now. They were 66th in points per game. So take away that 55 burger. They were
Hmm.
probably the 80th ranked offense in scoring that year. But on a magical day at Iowa City, they knocked Ohio State out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Didn't help that JT Barrett started throwing picks and the roof totally caved in.